Hello, everyone. I'm Electrish. Welcome to Static Realms Hangouts. Tonight, I have a very special guest. You all probably know him as an interviewer of artists, but tonight he is in the hot seat. He's also a great artist himself and DJ. So without further ado, I would like to bring in Jak Syn. Hey, Jak Syn.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? I'm Jak Syn. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you, Electrish, and be on here on Static Realms with you guys.
We are delighted to have you. How does it feel being on the opposite end of the interview seat?
Well, you know, I mean, being on the other end,
A lot.
It feels pretty good. Feels pretty good.
Awesome.
I'd say so.
Yeah. Tonight you just sit back, relax, answer some questions, and have a rad time. That's what we're all about. So.
Well, can't wait for that. I'm ready to do this.
Me too. So, as I said, we all know you as an interviewer of artists, but I want to talk to you about being an artist yourself. So you have played several live shows. You're a DJ. You have this high energy when you play live. It's something really cool to watch. So what was it like playing all these live events and doing so many shows and having that kind of nightlife?
Well, first of all, thank you for that question. And listen, doing all this stuff, like being able to do all of these shows has really been a beautiful experience for me. Like being able to interact with people, you know, and being in that live setting, being able to share my music with everybody, being able to share, you know, even the DJ stuff, being able to DJ this wonderful style of music that I absolutely love, synthwave, dark synth, outrun, all of it is just so great to get that energy when you're in that room. You get to play to those people. It's just it is an undescribable feeling. It really is. And being able to do that with everybody in that kind of setting is just magical.
How did those shows all come about? How did you link up with all the other guys, the artists, and get involved with San Junipero and Nightwave and everything that you guys do?
Okay, well, see that. I mean, that's an interesting story. So basically, this was I'd say about 3 years ago, thereabouts, and I had done some some synthwave events in the past. Not really too big because, like, you thinking about it, like maybe about 5-7 years ago, synthwave really wasn't that huge, especially here in Los Angeles. So I had been kind of like puttering around with like little themed events here and there, and Sam Valentine, you guys all know him from Nightwave, San Junipero, one of my best friends. He was basically like, him and I connected online, and he was like, hey, do you know anybody out there in Los Angeles who knows how to do synthwave music or is into that kind of stuff? Because we're thinking about taking Nightwave out to LA. And I was like, well, I absolutely love synthwave music. I love to DJ it. I love to play it. I love to talk to people about it. And so he was like, okay, great. Well, if you like to do that, like, can you send me a mix and stuff like that? So I sent him a mix, and the rest is history. And we got to do our first Nightwave event back in February of 2018. Wow, it's crazy to think about it. It's been
like so long ago, right?
3 years, yeah. The first Nightwave event was at the Echoplex in LA, and it was just, I was so happy to be a part of that because we had Dance with the Dead play that night, and being able to open for Dance with the Dead with the DJ set and work with these amazing guys, Faith in the Glitch and Sam, and all the people at the Echoplex, it was just an amazing experience. So that's pretty much how it happened.
That is so cool. We actually have some live footage from the Nightwave. If you don't mind, we're going to pull that up and show some of it because it's so much fun. That is so much fun. I wish I could like get in there, just jump into that and just be a part of that right now. So yeah, a goal of mine is to see a show just like that when all of this is over, because the energy is amazing.
The energy is there. That's what it's all about. I mean, one of the greatest things about the Nightwave and the San Junipero events is that it is a giant rainbow of people and energy in these venues, like when we do them, because we've been very fortunate to be able to do, in New York City, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. And every time that we do it, it's like everybody comes together. Doesn't matter what background you're from. It's all these people, coming together because of their love of this genre of music. And when you're up there being able to do that, play to all these people, it's not even about you anymore.
Right.
It's about them. It's about all these people out there enjoying themselves and really having a great time. That's top priority.
You always bring that to anything you do. You put a little piece of yourself in there, but it, like you said, it's not about just you. It's about everyone. It's about everything. It's about the experience on both ends. And I feel like that's probably so rewarding for you as well. So,
I mean, I gotta say, it's to me, that's the one thing that feels the best, is that I'm able to play this music for these people out here and I'm able to really kind of experience it all through their eyes. And when I look back at these videos, it makes me want to go back to that even more. It really does.
Yeah, I'm sure it's great to see it, but it's also kind of like, oh, I miss it so much. Because we all miss it too, believe me. So I do have a question about that. From someone who's done all these live events, what was it like transitioning into the new age of live streams versus live events? What was that like for you?
Well, that's a great question. I gotta say that it has been a bit of a change, but not too much, because when I'm up there on stage, when we're all up there DJing, you know, Faith, Sam, Black Silk, when we're all up there DJing, it's like we kind of go into our own little worlds. I mean, yes, we're hyping up the crowd, and we're getting everybody involved and having them jump up and, you know, scream and all that kind of stuff. But we're doing the same things that we would be doing in a live setting, but we're doing it in our homes. So it's like I've gone from being in that live setting, playing to these people and DJing to these people, and then going to being inside of my living room, decorating it however I want to do it, and still being able to get on the microphone and tell everybody, hey, you know, are you guys ready? Get up and jump up, you know, all that kind of stuff. And seeing the comments in the chat, because I can see those comments too. So everybody out there, if you guys don't think I'm listening, or seeing those comments, I'm seeing them, and I'm responding to you guys live. So it's not too much of a crazy transition. The biggest thing that I do miss, though, is I do miss the energy of that live feeling.
Of course, of course. But I love watching those streams as well. From my end, it's so much fun for me. I stay up extra late just to catch them sometimes, because they're always so much fun, and you have great tracks that you always spin. You have such a great eclectic mix of music. So, and I love the theme parties that you guys do. But let's talk about your music, Jak Syn. Let's talk about a song called Crypt. Can you tell me a little bit about this song?
Well, that song is that actually came out back in 2017. Was it actually, no, sorry, 2018, I believe. Yeah, I'm sorry. But okay. You know, that track was basically a little love, or a little letter to basically technology, in a way, and how sometimes it can get the better of us. You know, technology, sometimes we get sucked into it. You know, it could either make us as big as a god, or it can make us as small as an ant. It can.
This is very true. Absolutely. So with that, we are going to go ahead and play the music video for Crypt. Awesome song. Love it.
Thank you. So glad you guys enjoyed that. Yeah, so that song, Crypt, that is my letter to technology and all of the things it can do to a person. And sometimes technology can be used for really great things. Sometimes it can be used for really bad things, but it's all in the way that you use it. It really can. I mean, and that's one of the things that we've learned so much about actually this pandemic is that even with technology and social media and everything, is that you can have a really good day with it or you can have a really bad day with it.
That is very true. Very true. So I have to ask you something else. With such a easygoing, just kind personality that you have, from what I know you from, what made you want to go into a darker sound, a darker vibe to a lot of your music?
Well, thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate that compliment. Thank you. That's the thing about me is that, I've been playing in bands for, God, since like 2002. It's been almost 20 years. And being able to play in bands, I've always just had this thing where I've been kind of drawn to that. I mean, I grew up like listening to, it was really funny because when I was really young, like I grew up listening to like 80s music and of course like funk and disco and all that kind of stuff. But as I got into my teen years, I wanted to start doing like rock music because, listening to like Rob Zombie, listening to Dead Sea, Orgy, Cold Chamber, like those bands, those were just like the things that I was gravitating towards. And a lot of the people that I was working with at the time were like huge fans of like death rock too. Like we're talking about bands like Christian Death, Alien Sex Fiend, those amazing artists that kind of shock and awed and kind of brought that macabre, feeling to the forefront that I absolutely love too. Big fan of, bands that have, a lot of the bands that came before, Cure and Ministry, Depeche Mode, stuff like that. And as I progressed, I was like, okay, well, I want to kind of inject these influences into music. So, playing in bands, it was just like, being a vocalist in the first band I was in this band called Death Diary, and we were very like, we called ourselves creep rock. So it was like, I was a singer, we had, my brother was a drummer, we had a guitarist, bassist, and a keyboard player. And, that was back in high school. So it was like, I was just always like dropping those, yeah, kind of vocal parts. So I was just all about that and just bringing the scary element to that. And that was back when I had dreads. Case, can you believe that I had dreads?
Oh, I wish we had a picture to pull up.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I think it's really important as an artist, no matter what kind of artist you are, to kind of explore that darker side of things. I think that that is part of being a creative person and being an artist, is kind of honing into that part of yourself that not everybody wants to, but being in touch with it is I think a really important thing, because then it gives you the balance when, you decide, I love this dark side, but I'm also kind of cool too. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true because it was like as dark as I've gotten with the sounds and stuff like that. It was really funny because over the years, being able to do this, I would get up and play shows, and I would come down, and talk with people. I'd talk with friends and fans and stuff like that of the music, and they're like, "Wow, you're a really nice person. I thought you were going to be like
Exactly.
scary or mean or standoffish." And I'm like, "No, I'm actually a really nice person.
Yeah.
I just like making this music."
Yeah, I think that's great. I think it's fantastic. It doesn't define you, but it is definitely in there for you to explore. So I love that.
Yeah, and I think it's always great when we can just explore our dark sides a little bit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You have to, I think. So you've done so many artist interviews over the time that you've done these artist interviews with so many other artists that you've interviewed. Is there any particular interviews that you've done that have stuck out to you, and artists that have stuck out to you, or just memories to you, because you've done quite a few. You've had a lot.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that. I mean, for these artist interviews, the one thing that stands out the most for me out of everything that I've done over this past, God, it'll be coming up on a year, because the first one dropped at the very beginning of April in 2020.
Yeah.
And out of all these artist interviews, the one thing that stood out to me the most has been positivity, because that's what these artist interviews are all about. It's just about positivity. Because I remember back this same month a year ago, I was sitting here on this bed going, I cannot take all of the doom and gloom in the news. I cannot take all of that. It's going to drive me nuts.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So I said, I think it's time to do these artist interviews, because we at Torfiend we were thinking about doing these artist interviews for a long time, but when lockdown started happening, we were like, okay, well, now it's like we can interview these artists and talk to them and find out about what's going on with them, and seeing how creative they're see how their creativity is going during all of this, and injecting a positive message into all of it, because that at its core is what is important, is the positive messages. So as far as anything standing out, that's the thing that stands out. But if I had to pick any particular moments, I would have to say one of them that stood out for me was when I got to interview Nina. I mean, that was really cool. We kind of discussed in that artist interview about bullying a little bit, and that that right there is something that stuck out for me when I was younger, because me being a young heavyset child, you get bullied a lot back in kindergarten, or back in grade school and stuff like that. But another one that really stands out for me is when we got to episode 100, and I got to interview Tony and Justin from Dance with the Dead. I mean, it was funny about that one, because we had been talking about doing that interview since like I had started, and just our schedules had never really synced up for it. And when we finally got to sit down, that right there was like one of the biggest things for me, because I have loved those guys since I started listening to this music, and they're just one of the best dudes. I mean, having a personal relationship with them, on the side, like being able to talk with them and chat with them, was really different when I actually got to sit down and interview them. Because some people think, well, these guys make some really amazing music, like what kind of people are they like? And I'm like, well, let's just get you guys on camera. Let's show that during this pandemic. So
That's amazing. It's fantastic, and it was such a great interview too. Like, do you ever get nervous when you're about to interview a very, someone that you've listened to and been following?
I think that's the great thing about this scene, though, is that, well, actually, pretty much a lot of artists in general are very personable. So it's like I figure if I'm able to contact them and they say yes and let's do it, then I kind of go, okay, well that eases a little bit of the tension, at least it eases a little bit of the pressure. But being able to sit down with them, yes, there's a little bit of nervous energy, there's always, it's like it's like me being able to get ready for a show. Like you have all this nervous energy, and then when you finally get up there, you kind of go, okay, well, I'm going to let it all out. Same thing with the DJ stuff. Once you make that first transition into the next song, after you've done your first song, then the rest of the night's going to go well. So you always have that nervous energy, but I try to just breathe and just say, hey, you know what? These are regular people like you and I. It's usually the people who are on the other side of the camera who are feeling that nervous energy. So
yeah. Well, you're so easy to talk to, and it's always great to hear what you have to say. So I'm doing all right. I'm having a great time. I hope you are too.
Well, thank you. And you know what? I did want to add these last two things in there just really quick. Being able to sit down with you and interview you and Eddie, Static Realms, that was another one that stood out really well because, you guys injected a lot of positive energy into your stuff. So I was really happy to be able to share that one with everybody. And, that's what it's all about. Another one that's really, really good was when I got to interview Evie Strange, the head of Tour Fiend, you know what I mean? And, my wife, it's just really great to be able to sit down and share that positive message and hear all about her story,
Yeah, absolutely. And what you guys do is incredible as well. So it's all for a reason, and it's all for a great reason. So let's just keep doing it. Keep doing what we do, So I noticed in some of your songs and some of your music, there's a theme of vampirism, some vampires in there. So let's talk about Creature of the Night. What's that song about?
That one was basically kind of going like, okay, well, when you're in that moment where you're in the club or you're in any type of setting really, and you lock eyes with somebody and you kind of go, okay, well, this person seems pretty mysterious. I want to find out a little bit more about them. Then you kind of find out that the person that you're kind of in a way lusting after is kind of ferocious, and you kind of like it, So that's what that one's about.
Yeah, we've been there. Yeah. So is there anything else you want to say about the song? Because we're going to pull up the video for that song.
Oh, wow. So, yes, for this song, Creature of the Night, it has, vocals on it. This one was released back in 2019. And, it sort of has some vampiric elements and zombie elements injected into it, and just stuff that I like. So take a look.
Yeah.
Awesome track, Creature of the Night.
Thank you very much.
I like saying it too.
Kind of just rolls off the tongue, right? Creature of the Night.
Yes, yes, and you have to have like an evil laugh afterwards. Like that was perfect. So yeah, let's talk about your other song, which is inspired, I believe, by Resident Evil, which you're a big fan of. That song.
Oh my god, I am such a huge fan of Resident Evil. Oh my god, everybody out there, do you guys like Resident Evil? Because I love Resident Evil, and I don't. Okay, wait a minute. Let me back up for a second there. I like Resident Evil, but I don't like the movies. I'm sorry, everybody out there, if you don't agree with that, I'm sorry, because I'm just a hardcore fan. I've been following for like 20 plus years. So, but this song right here that's going to be coming up, this is actually a remix that was done that I did for my buddy Street Cleaner Jesse Bishop, and we did this song called We Eat Like Stars, and this track. It was so awesome. I had to do a remix, but I was like, we eat like stars, and I was like, stars, like the nemesis. So that was my little injection on that.
Yeah, it's so cool. I have to say, when I remember playing Resident Evil for the first time ever, I was by myself, and I was a little bit scared. I was getting a little bit creeped out while playing the game. So, but the track is awesome. Your remix is awesome. So we are going to play that track. Eventually.
Stars.
Awesome. Another awesome track. So how many times would you say you've played the Resident Evil games? Too many to remember?
Yeah, I gotta say, yeah, you're right. It's too many to remember. I have a full Resident Evil collection, and when I say I have a collection, I don't even have the systems to play the games that I have anymore. So they're just sitting there. They're collector's items for me. But I pretty much own every title. Like not even, yeah, get a little nerdy for here for a second, but but hey, I don't care. I'm gonna nerd out for a second. I have like pretty much every title except for a few, like maybe like 2 or 3 that I don't have, but they're like stuff for like Game Boy and stuff like that that I don't even have. But
That's awesome.
yeah, all the main title stuff and all the spin-off stuff, I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I know you did some Resident Evil themed parties in the past, so that's pretty cool too. That must have been a really fun time for you.
I did, you know what, and it was kind of funny because setting up for these Resident Evil parties is kind of a bit of a madness, for me.
I can imagine.
And a lot of like time and energy goes into them, and a lot of mess here in the apartment. But we've done it about 3 times in the past, and it's been like a whole cosplay event. People come to the Case Raw. I usually did 2 of them at the Case Raw. The first one I actually did with my parents' backyard years and years and years and years ago. But since then, we'd moved to the Case Raw, and it was like invited out all the Resident Evil fans, decorated the whole place, made it look like Raccoon City. Had a zombie on display being dissected that was created by my friend Chris Moore. Amazing stuff. I wish I had some pictures I can show you guys later on the social media, but it was the whole thing.
That's so cool. I love themes. I love parties. I love cosplaying as anything. So I think that's really, really, really cool. I want to talk to you now about your newest music. I know you have a new track coming out next week, right? A brand new track.
Yeah, I have a new track coming out March 19th. It's called Lethal Pursuit. This is basically my love letter to Outrun music.
There's the artwork right there. The Lethal Pursuit artwork is so cool. I know you did that yourself, right?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I did. It was a beast of a piece to do. I mean, the way I work is I like to sketch it all out ahead of time, and then I like to scan it, put it through, and redraw it digitally. So that was a big thing for me. But this track is, yes, it's a love letter to Outrun music, and it's all about having a hell of a time, pretty much. Yeah. I'm
very excited to hear that track. And we recently heard Neo Future, which is your newest, I call it a banger because that's what it is. It's such a banger. And every time I listen to it, I just want to like run around and just, get crazy. It's called Neo Future. And yeah, I think we're going to actually play a video for it. Can you tell me about the song first before we get into the video? So this song is, again, it deals with technology in the future. These are, this is an instrumental track, and it's basically, yes, it's about living in the future and how technology kind of rules our lives in some ways, and that we rely really heavily on it for everything in our life. And I think that sometimes we need to take a step back and kind of get back to what's important and maybe not invest so much time in it sometimes. I think it's very true. It's hard to not get consumed in technology sometimes. So when you can take a step back and just kind of be yourself again, be your true self, that's nice. So yeah, exactly. It's such a cool song. It's just so like fun, and so it's loud, and I love to play it loud. Oh. So yeah. Well, my car, thank you. I mean, yeah. This track right here, I mean, it's put to The Running Man, one of my favorite films. I put it to Running Man as a little bit of a montage, a little bit of an action montage for you guys to kind of enjoy the track. So, all right. And when we come back from the video, I know that you're going to be playing your set soon. So I just want to say thank you so much for being on the show. You're amazing. Thanks for talking with us. And yeah, let's hear your new track, and then I'll come back, and then you'll have time to set up for your set. So thanks again, Jak Syn. You're the man. Thank you. Thank you. All right, just kidding. Jackson's back because we actually have some live footage from the Nightwave party that we want to show, and it's a really, really fun one. So can you tell me a little bit more about the Nightwave parties?
So the Nightwave parties are more on the dark synth side, more on the synthwave and dark synth, Outrun, really just kind of get into that nitty gritty, like I like to think of it on a bit of a spectrum, and I talk about this in some of the interviews in the past, where it's like, you have your really light stuff and you have your really dark stuff. Nightwave's on the dark side, San Junipero is more on the light side, more of that party atmosphere.
Yeah.
And so if you want to mosh to that, you can mosh to that. If you want to, it all depends on how you're feeling, I guess you could say.
That is true, yeah. If you're into the dark, why not? So we're going to pull up the Nightwave video. Man, they really know how to party in LA. So anyway, without further ado, thank you all for watching, and thank you so much to Jak Syn for speaking with me and being on the opposite end of the interview seat tonight. It's been a blast, and I hope you guys are having fun. Sit where you are because Jak Syn is getting ready to perform for us.
What's up, everybody? Jak Syn here. How y'all doing? You guys ready?